Hello everyone, it's me again. We are in a familiar forest, but I'm going to talk about some other things that I have been to in the time that you haven't seen me. And I want to do this more. One of the things that I don't film on location sometimes is because there are too many people and I don't want to bother them. But if you want me to talk about more places, or you have a subject that you really want me to bite into and explain to you, something really Dutch, please put them in the comments and I will look into it. So while I was talking about music and Smartlappen and the national anthem, I've been to Flevoland. And Flevoland is a province in the Netherlands, one of the 12 provinces in the Netherlands. But there's something very special about that province. Not only is Flevoland the smallest province, it's also the youngest. The reason why it's the youngest is because we made it ourselves. It consists of the Noordoostpolder and the Flevopolder. A polder is basically land that is reclaimed from something out of the water. So from, for example, the sea or a swamp or a river, something like that. And in this case, Flevoland was reclaimed from the Zuiderzee. And the Flevopolder, which is reclaimed entirely from the sea, because the Noordoostpolder was just a continuation of the mainland. The Flevopolder is the largest artificial island in the world. Where you walk in Flevoland is on average 5 meters below the sea level. But a lot of things had to happen before that Flevopolder actually could exist. Of course, we need to get rid of all the water. And in June 14th in 1918, the Zuiderzee Act was passed. And this was because in 1916 there was a lot of flooding, a lot of villages were devastated by the floods, a lot of land was actually reclaimed by the sea, and the ministry just wanted to prevent that because the Netherlands is a small country. We need all the land that we can get. Because of the floods in 1916, the public opinion had changed as well. Before 1916, people were really against reclamation from the sea by people because a lot of people were dependent on fishery. Dutch people did a lot of fishing in those days. So Flevoland was part of the plan of the Dienst der Zuiderzeewerken. The plan of the Dienst der Zuiderzeewerken took place in several phases, and it took about 75 years to actually do the entire plan. At first, in 1924, there was a dike built to the place of Wieringen. This was first an island and now became part of the mainland. In 1932, the Afsluitdijk was finished. It basically meant that the inner sea, the Zuiderzee, inside of the provinces of the Netherlands, which is now Flevoland, had become completely closed off from the rest of the ocean, the rest of the sea. Because of the many rivers that ended up in that part of the Zuiderzee, the brackish salt water became actually fresh water and was called IJsselmeer. And from the 1930s on, we started to reclaim land from the sea, from this IJsselmeer, starting at Wieringenmeer. The Noordoostpolder was reclaimed in the 1940s. And it took exactly 2 years for the polder to fall dry. So it started in 1940, in 1942 it was actually dry. And the water reports that were first the provinces of Friesland and Overijssel actually became part of Flevoland, became part of the mainland. The reclamation of land was done with, among others, the help of windmills, something the Netherlands is famous for. So what did the windmills do exactly? It was used to reclaim land by pumping up the water and putting it somewhere else to let go in the flow of the river or something. So the reclamation of land continued until 1986, when the province of Flevoland was finally established. And if you look at the old maps of the Second World War, Flevoland does not exist. It's actually a big lake, and that's actually very interesting to see. The province of Flevoland is something very special because it's so new and unique. The Netherlands has specialized itself as a country who deals with water, who fights the water, and actually there are a lot of companies that specialize in reclaiming land from the sea. Another thing that I find really interesting is that my grandmother saw Flevoland being built. It's that recent. I was born just after it was established, so I've never known the Netherlands without the province. But my grandmother and even my mother were witness to an entire province being made by humans, by people here. Nowadays, Flevoland is very flat. It is used a lot for agriculture, and well, compared to other parts of the Netherlands, the cities are very young, very recent. So there are people that are not really a fan of Flevoland, but it is a beautiful part of this country. See you next time. And because of the fact that it was reclaimed by the sea, the average... What? Because of these floods in 1916, oh wait, don't want to get don't want to get cycled over by, don't want to get hit by a mountain biker. Ah, that's a lot of light. The reclamation of the land was with the help of the old windmolens. That was the windmills are very effective for pumping up water from one part and pumping it up all the way down with a rat. This is not in the text, that's why I'm one way to take. So the province of Flevoland was actually acknowledged. Of course. Finally I have a good take, I need to burp. So let's get out of this lake. Parts of the path is flooded. Let's not step into that water.